My fiancée planned to pass off her lover's child as mine for support, but one courtroom revelation turned her plans upside down, exposed the truth to everyone, and left the entire town talking about what really happened. I'm a 28-year-old male, a union electrician, making around $85,000 a year. Not rich, but solid middle class. I've got my own place, my truck's paid off, and I've been busting my ass since I was 18 to build something stable. I lost my dad when I was 16, so I've always taken responsibility seriously. My fiancée, Brittany, 26, female, works at a high-end nail salon doing gel manicures for soccer moms who drive Escalades. She makes decent tips, but it's inconsistent as hell. We've been together almost 3 years. She got pregnant about 7 months ago, and I proposed the day she told me because that's what you do when you're about to be a dad, right? She seemed weird about the proposal at first, not excited, more like she was doing me a favor by saying yes. I figured she was just scared about the whole pregnancy thing. I should have trusted my gut right there. I've been covering everything since she got pregnant. Her prenatal appointments, all the baby gear, her half of the rent since her income dropped. I even added her to my health insurance the minute we got engaged. We're talking about $7,800 so far, not counting the $4,200 I dropped on her engagement ring. So, one afternoon, I got off work early because the job site shut down due to rain. I decided to surprise her with dinner from that expensive sushi place she's always craved. I used my key to let myself in and heard voices from the kitchen. I was about to announce myself when I heard her talking to her sister, Ashley. What I heard next made me freeze. "I still can't believe you're actually going through with marrying him," Ashley was saying. "Damien's got great insurance and steady money, but girl, you're really settling." "Look, Derek can't provide what this baby needs." Brittany cut her off. "Damien can. Derek's barely keeping his head above water with his current kid. Derek is this personal trainer from the gym where she works out. She always claimed he was just helping with prenatal exercises, but something about the way she talked about him always rubbed me wrong." "I mean, I guess Damien's okay," Ashley said. "But you deserve better than some electrician who thinks Applebee's is a nice dinner. At least you'll have financial security." Brittany actually laughed. "I care about him enough. And honestly, he's so desperate to play hero that he'll never question anything. He just nods and pays for whatever I want." I stood there for maybe 15 minutes, listening to them plan out my future like I was some ATM with legs. They discussed how she'd keep seeing Derek after we got married. How Derek doesn't even know the baby is his. She told him her birth control failed, but they were being careful. She'd already coached Ashley on what to say if I ever got suspicious. The worst part? Even after hearing all this, part of me wondered if I misunderstood something. That's how deep this mind game goes. I left without saying anything and just drove around for hours. When I came home, she was acting completely normal, showing me some $200 baby monitor she wanted to order, talking about honeymoon plans, asking if I was excited about becoming a daddy. I kept looking at this engagement ring that cost me 2 months of overtime and wanted to smash something. She's in the bedroom doing her skincare routine, probably texting Derek about their next workout session, completely oblivious that her whole scam is about to blow up. Before I made any move, I knew I had to get legal help. I started recording on my phone once I realized what was happening. My state is a one-party consent state. My uncle Tony is a lawyer, so I wanted to consult him. I went into detective mode. I had to get my documents in order. The first thing I did was tell Brittany I needed to stay at my buddy Scott's place for a few days because I was stressed about wedding costs. She was actually relieved, saying it would give her time to focus on baby prep. That should have been a red flag the size of a billboard. I've spent 3 weeks going full CSI mode, making copies of every receipt, bank statement and text showing what I've spent on her and the baby. We're talking serious cash, prenatal vitamins, doctor visits, that $800 crib she had to have, covering her car payment twice, groceries, that pregnancy massage package she desperately needed. The smoking gun was her phone. She left it unlocked while she was in the shower. Rookie mistake. I found months of messages between her and Derek. This wasn't just an affair. They were planning their whole future together, talking about how to manage the transition after my wedding, how they'd eventually find a way to be together without disrupting the financial stability. She literally called me the bank in one message. Here's the part that really screwed with my head. She's been lying to Derek too. She told him she was on the pill and the pregnancy was a total accident. The dude has no idea she got knocked up on purpose. This woman is playing four-dimensional chess while we're all playing tic-tac-toe. I called my uncle Tony, the lawyer, and he hooked me up with a colleague who specializes in paternity fraud. Yeah, that's a real thing that happens enough to need specialists. Who knew? Tony told me to get a prenatal paternity test before doing anything else. It's more expensive than waiting, but it would give me ironclad proof. I set it up through my doctor, telling them I wanted to screen for genetic issues since my dad died young. The results came back 2 days ago, 0% chance I'm the father. Seeing it in black and white hit differently than just knowing it in my gut. Tony said what she's doing is criminal fraud in our state, not just a civil matter. She could face actual jail time for this. The weird thing is how calm I was about all this. Like, shouldn't I be more pissed off? But mostly, I just felt this cold clarity I've never had before. Maybe because I finally understood what's been happening to me. So, I told her we're having dinner at Romano's, the place where we had our first date. She thought I was planning some romantic surprise and even got her nails done. It was time to watch her world explode. My buddy Scott was my backup, parked outside in case she went completely psycho. Uncle Tony was on standby too. Derek's wife, Michelle, deserved to know what her husband's been doing. I was planning to reach out after I handled Brittany. Dinner night. Brittany showed up looking like she was going to a photo shoot, new dress, fresh highlights, full makeup. She was practically bouncing in her seat, thinking I was about to surprise her with some expensive wedding upgrade. What happened next felt even more brutal because of it. I didn't waste time with small talk. Britt, I need to ask you something straight up. Is there anything about this pregnancy you haven't told me? The change was instant. For just a second, pure panic flashed in her eyes before she slipped back into innocent girl mode. What do you mean, babe? You're kind of freaking me out. I know about Derek. All the color drained from her face. She started stammering, trying to figure out how much I knew. I don't. What about Derek? He's just my trainer. You know that. I pulled out the big gun. I have the paternity test results, Brittany. I know the baby isn't mine. She stared at me for maybe 30 seconds, not saying a word. Then the waterworks started, but they were the fakest tears I've ever seen. You could practically see the gears spinning in her head. Damien, please, let me explain. It's not what you think. Go ahead, explain. She spun this whole sob story about how it was just one mistake. One time when we were fighting about money, she was emotional and confused. Derek was there for her. Blah, blah, blah. I've seen the messages. I heard you talking to Ashley. That's when the mask completely came off. The fake crying stopped instantly, and she got this cold, calculating look I'd never seen before. You went through my phone. You freaking recorded me without permission. You've been planning to commit fraud, and you're worried about privacy? Then she said the line that's going to haunt me forever. Even if the baby isn't biologically yours, you're still going to be his father. Like it or not, we're getting married in 2 months. I'm not letting you ruin our family over some stupid technicality. A technicality? She called paternity fraud a technicality. There's not going to be a wedding, Brittany. That's when she completely lost it. She started screaming in the middle of the restaurant about how I was abandoning my responsibility, how I was destroying her life, how she'd make sure everyone knew what kind of selfish jerk I really was. Other customers were staring. The manager came over. It was a whole freaking scene. You think you're so smart? She hissed at me. Good luck finding someone else who will put up with your boring ass. You're nothing special, Damien. Just a blue-collar worker with a truck payment. The contempt in her voice was unreal. This woman I'd been planning to spend my life with just showed me exactly what she thought of me. I dropped $40 on the table and walked out while she was still screaming. I drove straight to the wedding venue and canceled everything. I lost the $2,500 deposit, but it felt like the best money I'd ever spent. She's been blowing up my phone since then. First begging, then threatening, then trying to manipulate me with pregnancy symptoms. This morning she showed up at my apartment sobbing, saying she'd leave Derek and we could work it out. When I wouldn't let her in, she threatened to take me to court for child support anyway. Uncle Tony says that's not how it works, especially with my evidence. But this woman is capable of anything. I also sent Derek's wife, Michelle, some screenshots through Facebook. She deserves to know what her husband's been up to. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure that's going to create its own drama explosion. 3 weeks ago, I thought I was about to become a husband and father. Now I'm realizing the last 3 years were basically an elaborate scam, but for the first time in months I can actually sleep through the night. Scott says I look like a different person. More relaxed, not constantly on edge. I guess I didn't realize how much stress I was carrying until it was gone. Michelle messaged me back. She wants to meet. Apparently Derek has done this before and she's been gathering evidence for months. This is about to get really interesting. The meeting with Michelle was like something out of a spy movie. No joke. This woman showed up with a folder thicker than my electrical code book, organized with tabs and everything. Turns out she's been suspicious of Derek for over a year and hired a private investigator 6 months ago. She had photos of him and Brittany together, credit card statements from hotels, even GPS tracking data from his phone. But here's the kicker. Brittany isn't his first side piece. This dude's been cheating on his wife for 3 years straight. I needed something big enough that he couldn't talk his way out of it in divorce court, Michelle told me. A secret baby was exactly what she was waiting for. She's filing for divorce next week, and with all her evidence, she's going to destroy him financially. Full custody of their daughter, the house, his retirement account, even part of his future earnings from the gym. Meanwhile, Brittany has gone completely nuclear since our dinner. When her crying and manipulation didn't work, she decided to wage war on my reputation. She's been posting on Facebook about what a deadbeat I am, how I abandoned my pregnant fiancée, how I'm just another selfish man who can't handle responsibility. The best part? She actually set up a GoFundMe titled "Single Mom Needs Help After Baby Daddy Abandons Family," using a photo from our vacation last summer where we look all happy and loving. She had the audacity to ask for $5,000 to get back on her feet. My family knows the truth, but some mutual friends have been giving me weird looks. It's amazing how quickly people assume I'm the villain because she's pregnant. But Brittany made her biggest mistake when she tried to threaten me legally. She had some ambulance chaser lawyers send me a demand letter claiming I owed child support regardless of paternity because I assumed the father role and financially supported the pregnancy. Uncle Tony literally started laughing when he read it. That's when we went on the attack. Paternity fraud is a felony in our state with real jail time. Uncle Tony's colleague sent Brittany's lawyer a response that basically said, "Your client attempted to commit fraud by deceiving our client about paternity with intent to obtain financial support under false pretenses. Cease all contact or we'll file criminal charges." She backed off the child support threats real quick after that, but we also served Derek with legal papers establishing him as the biological father and demanding child support. His lawyer tried to demand proof, so we sent over the paternity test results along with some of the text messages between him and Brittany. 2 days after Derek got served, guess who showed up at my apartment? Not crying this time. Brittany was freaking furious. She looked like she'd been awake for 72 hours straight, hair a mess, makeup smudged. "We need to talk right now." She tried to push past me, but I blocked the doorway. "You can't do this to Derek. He has a family to think about." "Had a family," I corrected. "And that's not my problem. You don't understand. He can't afford child support right now. Michelle's taking everything in the divorce. You're destroying his life over nothing." The audacity was breathtaking. She was actually asking me to consider Derek's financial situation, like somehow his affair baby was my responsibility to fund. "Should have thought about that before you two decided to play house," I told her. She tried switching tactics, suddenly playing the victim again. "Damien, I know I made mistakes, but we can still fix this. Think about all the good times we had. Don't you want to be a father? Not to another man's kid." That's when her mask slipped completely, and the real Brittany came out. "Do you have any idea how hard it is to depend on someone else for everything? I needed security, Damien. I needed to know my baby would be taken care of." "So, you committed fraud." "I did what I had to do," she screamed. "You think it's easy being with someone like you? Someone who thinks Olive Garden is fine dining and buys tools instead of taking me on real vacations?" There it was. The truth about what she really thought of me. All those times she made comments about wanting nicer things or seemed embarrassed when we hung out with her salon friends. I was never good enough for her. Just good enough to pay her bills. "Get the hell off my property," I said, stepping back to close the door. "Fine," she snarled. "But don't come crawling back when you realize what you've lost. Good men don't abandon pregnant women, Damien. Everyone's going to see what kind of selfish prick you really are. Let them, the people who matter, know the truth." I slammed the door and locked it. For the first time in months, I felt completely at peace. But the fun wasn't over yet. Derek called me the next day, crying like a little kid. "Damien, man, please don't ruin my life. I didn't know she was trying to trap you. I thought you guys were solid. That made it okay to screw my fiancé? We can work something out. I'll pay you back for the medical stuff, whatever you spent. Just don't make me pay ongoing support. I'm about to lose everything in the divorce." I hung up on his pathetic ass. Ashley, Brittany's sister, decided to join the harassment campaign. She started texting me at all hours, calling me a selfish piece of trash and a coward who abandons pregnant women. "You're destroying my sister's life because you're too insecure to handle the truth," one text read. "She's better off without a loser like you anyway. Hope you're happy ruining an innocent baby's future." Then she started calling, leaving voicemails about how I'm just a loser. Nobody who should be grateful someone like Brittany even looked at me twice. "She could have had anyone," Ashley screeched in one voicemail. "But she settled for your boring ass, and this is how you repay her? You're pathetic." I blocked her number after the 5th call. I don't need that toxicity in my life. The legal stuff is moving fast. Uncle Tony filed paperwork to officially remove any parental rights or obligations I might have had. We're also suing for reimbursement of all baby-related expenses. Michelle and I are coordinating our cases. Her lawyer is helping with mine too. since we're both going after Derek. Scott has been helping me move all of Brittany's stuff out of my place. Found some interesting things in her junk drawer that I'm saving for later. Hey, I'm back again. These people just keep digging themselves deeper holes, and it's honestly entertaining at this point. It's like watching the Three Stooges, but with more fraud and baby drama. Derek's been calling me every few days now, each time more desperate than the last. Yesterday he tried a new approach, offering to split child support with me, like we're going to co-parent his mistake together. Come on, man. You were going to raise the kid anyway. What's the difference? The difference, you cheating piece of trash, is that one scenario involves me being a father, and the other involves me being a mark in a con game. I blocked his number. But Brittany? She decided to take things public in the worst way possible. This woman showed up at my job site Tuesday morning, a commercial project downtown with about 30 guys working. Rolled up 8 months pregnant, tears streaming, screaming about how I abandoned my family. That's him. She was pointing at me while I'm up on a ladder running conduit. That's the father of my baby. He just left us with nothing. My foreman Dave came over like, damn, what the hell is this about? The whole crew stopped working to watch this show. She's sobbing about how I promised to marry her, how I'm leaving her homeless, how she doesn't know how she'll feed the baby. I climbed down and walked over to her, real calm. Brittany, you need to leave now. I'm not going anywhere until you do the right thing. Everyone deserves to know what kind of man you really are. So I pulled out my phone and played one of the recordings I made. Her voice, clear as day, talking to Ashley about how I'm just the bank and Derek is the real father. The whole job site went dead quiet. Anyone else want to hear more? I asked. Nobody said a word. Brittany's face went white, then red. Then she started screaming about illegal recordings and violations of privacy. Dave told her to get off the site or he'd call the cops. She left, but not before shouting that I'd regret humiliating her like this. My crew was looking at me like I'd grown a second head. Then Scott, who works on the same job, started slow clapping, and pretty soon half the guys were cheering. Well, that was more dramatic than a movie, Scott announced to the whole crew. Damien just got unplugged from the Matrix. Boys, that woman had more twists than our electrical conduit. Dave pulled me aside after and said, Jesus Christ, Damien. Good thing you found out before the wedding. No kidding. Scott chimed in. Damien almost got shocked by the wrong kind of current. Thank God for that recording. Talk about having the right tools for the job. The guys were cracking up. Scott kept going. She wanted Damien to be the father. More like she wanted him to be the father cucker. Get it? Like mother. We get it, Scott, Dave said, shaking his head but laughing. But here's where it gets interesting. Remember how I mentioned finding stuff in Brittany's drawer when we cleaned out her things? Well, among her old receipts and random junk, I found something very interesting. Derek's wife's business card. Turns out Michelle runs her own accounting firm. I called her up and had a very productive conversation. It seems Derek's been hiding money from her in preparation for the divorce. Moving cash around, claiming lower income, the whole 9 yards. Michelle's been trying to track it down but needed someone with access to Derek's personal life. Guess who has months of text messages between Derek and Brittany, talking about money, future plans, and Derek's financial situation? Michelle and I met up yesterday and I showed her everything. Derek's been telling Brittany he makes way more than he's claiming in divorce court. He's also been planning to quit his gym job and move to another state with Brittany after her baby is born, something that would conveniently make child support enforcement much harder. This is gold, Michelle said, photographing everything. He's been claiming he only makes $35,000 a year. These messages show him talking about a $60,000 salary plus side income from private training. We're putting together a package that's going to absolutely destroy Derek in court. Hidden income, plans to flee the state, admissions of the affair, evidence of him fathering a child while married. Michelle's lawyer says it's going to be beautiful to watch. But I'm not done yet. See, Brittany's been spreading lies about me all over social media, trying to destroy my reputation. She posted on those local Facebook mom groups about how I'm a deadbeat. Shared my photo, even posted the address of my electrical company, asking people to let them know what kind of man they're employing. That was her mistake, because now it's not just personal. She's trying to mess with my livelihood. Uncle Tony's been helping me put together a defamation case. Screenshots of every post, every comment, every lie she spread. We're going after her for damages to my reputation and lost business income. But the best part is still coming. See, Derek works at Elite Fitness, a gym chain that has a very strict morality clause in their employee contracts. Affairs with clients, dishonesty, criminal behavior, all grounds for immediate termination and being blacklisted from other gyms in the area. Scott has a buddy who's a member at Elite Fitness. Guess who's going to receive an anonymous package with some very interesting information about one of their trainers? The baby's due in 3 weeks. Derek still doesn't know that Brittany got pregnant on purpose. Michelle's divorce is being finalized next month. And I'm just sitting here with my popcorn, watching it all burn down. Chat it. Scott came over yesterday to help box up Brittany's stuff, and this dude had me rolling. He walks in wearing rubber gloves and says, "Time for some hazmat removal, boys. We're cleaning out the toxic waste." First thing he finds is her collection of expensive face masks. "Look at this, Damien. $80 for a mud mask? I can get you the same thing from a construction site for free." He starts putting them in a box labeled overpriced dirt, then he finds her stack of romance novels. "Oh, look! And How to Catch a Millionaire and Unto Gold Digger's Guide to Love. I'm starting to see a pattern here, Damien. This is like a how-to manual for what she did to you." But the best part was when he found her Victoria's Secret receipts. "Dude, she spent $300 on lingerie last month. I'm guessing it wasn't for you. Unless you suddenly developed a thing for leopard print." He waves the receipt around. More red flags than a communist parade. "We found her diary. I didn't read it, but Scott couldn't resist. Listen to this, Jim. Derek makes me feel alive, but Damien makes me feel secure. Jesus Christ, Damien. You were dating a walking contradiction. That's like saying, I love pizza, but I'll marry broccoli because it's healthy." By the end, Scott had created a whole comedy routine out of packing her stuff. This relationship had more issues than a magazine subscription, brother. Good thing you canceled before the next issue arrived. It's like watching a controlled demolition. Everything's falling down exactly the way I planned, and it's more satisfying than that scene in Fight Club where the buildings collapse. First, the gym situation. Scott's buddy delivered that anonymous package to Elite Fitness Management on Monday. By Wednesday, Derek was fired. Apparently, having an affair with a client while married, getting her pregnant, and lying about his income violates about 17 different policies. The gym manager actually called me to verify some of the information and thanked me for bringing it to their attention. Derek's now working at some 24-hour chain gym, making minimum wage plus commission. Good luck hiding income now, buddy. The divorce proceedings have been absolutely brutal for Derek. Michelle's lawyer presented all the evidence I provided, the text messages about his real income, plans to flee the state, admissions about the affair. The judge was not impressed. "Your Honor, my client has been systematically deceived and defrauded by her husband," Michelle's lawyer said. "He's been hiding assets, lying about income, and planning to abandon his responsibilities to both his wife and his illegitimate child." Derek's getting destroyed. Michelle's getting the house, full custody of their daughter, 60% of his retirement account, and spousal support. Plus, Derek's now on the hook for child support for 2 kids instead of 1. But wait, it gets better. Brittany had the baby last week. A healthy boy. But here's where it gets hilarious. Derek showed up to the hospital expecting some happy family moment, and Brittany told him to get the hell out. "I can't be with someone who can't provide for us," she told him right there in the maternity ward. "I need stability for my son." This woman orchestrated an entire fraud to get Derek's baby a stable father figure, then rejected him when he became financially responsible for said baby. You literally cannot make this up. Derek's been calling me again. I got a new number, but Uncle Tony's been keeping track of everything for the harassment case. Now he's begging me to take a DNA test to prove the baby isn't mine. Maybe we got it wrong, man. Maybe you are the father after all. Desperation makes people stupid. The defamation lawsuit is moving forward nicely. Uncle Tony's documented 47 separate instances where Brittany posted false information about me on social media. My boss at the electrical company is backing me up. He says 3 potential clients specifically mentioned seeing something online about me and decided to go with other contractors. That's documented lost income, boys. In this economy, that adds up fast. But the absolute best part? Remember how Brittany set up that GoFundMe asking for money as a single mom abandoned by baby daddy? Well, someone, definitely not me, wink wink, posted screenshots of our text conversations in the comments, along with photos of the paternity test results. The GoFundMe got taken down within 24 hours for fraud. Brittany had to return the $1,200 she'd already collected. She's now being investigated by the platform for misrepresentation. Ashley's been posting on social media about how I'm a deadbeat and how family comes first. These people are all cut from the same cloth, entitled, manipulative, and completely delusional about taking responsibility for their actions. Brittany's lost her job at the nail salon. Showing up screaming at my worksite didn't look good for business. She's lost Derek and is now facing a defamation lawsuit that's going to cost her more money than she'll make in the next 5 years. Meanwhile, I'm thriving. I got a promotion at work. Turns out, not being constantly stressed about a manipulative partner makes you way more productive. I bought myself a new truck with the money I'm not spending on someone else's problems. I started dating again too. I met a woman named Lisa through Scott's girlfriend. She's a nurse, has her own place, her own car, her own life. She doesn't expect me to fund her existence or solve all her problems. It's refreshing as hell. The legal stuff should be wrapped up in a few weeks. Hopefully, I'm getting back every penny I spent on Brittany and the baby. Michelle's getting her divorce settlement, and Brittany's dealing with the consequences of her own choices. About the new girl, we're taking it slow. Both of us believe in actually getting to know someone before making major life decisions. Derek tried to friend me on Facebook yesterday. The nerve of this man. Brittany's apparently living with her mom now. Her mom called to apologize and said Brittany's always been a difficult child. No kidding, lady, this is my final update on this whole mess. It's been 8 months since I discovered the truth, and I wanted to wrap this up with a nice bow because you guys have been with me through every step of this journey. The legal victories were total slam dunks. I got back every penny I spent on Brittany and baby expenses, $7,847 plus legal fees. Derek's paying child support and will be for the next 18 years. The defamation case against Brittany was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. Let's just say it was enough to put a down payment on a very nice house. Derek's life completely imploded, and it's beautiful to watch. Michelle cleaned him out in the divorce. She got the house, full custody, his retirement account, spousal support, the works. He's living in a studio apartment above a pizza place and working 2 jobs to cover his child support obligations for both kids. The funny part? He keeps trying to reconnect with Brittany, convinced they can still have their fairy tale ending. She won't even let him see the baby unsupervised because he's not financially stable enough to be trusted with important decisions. This woman literally planned her entire scam around securing Derek's baby a stable father, then rejected him when he became responsible for providing that stability. It's like watching someone play chess by eating the pieces. Brittany's life is exactly what she was trying to avoid by scamming me. She's a single mother working at a gas station, living with her parents, struggling to make ends meet. Her Instagram went from posting photos of expensive dinners and designer bags to complaining about formula costs and sleepless nights. She tried reaching out to me about 2 months ago, not for reconciliation, but to ask if I'd be willing to help out occasionally with baby expenses since I had already invested so much. The freaking delusion. I blocked her number immediately. My life? A complete 180. That promotion at work came with a $15,000 raise. I bought a house in a nice neighborhood. 3 bedrooms, 2-car garage, decent yard for grilling and hanging out. Scott helped me move in and said it's the happiest he's ever seen me. He showed up to help me move with a cooler full of drinks and a t-shirt that said, "Moving sucks, but at least you're not a single mom." "Welcome to your new bachelor pad, Damien," he announced. "No more walking on eggshells, no more funding someone else's lifestyle, and best of all, no more listening to complaints about your tool collection." He walked through the empty house making commentary on everything. "This is the kitchen where you'll cook whatever the hell you want without someone bitching about carbs. This is the living room where you can watch sports without hearing about how football is stupid and violent. And this," he opened the garage door, "is where your tools will live in peace without being called clutter." Then he found the master bedroom. "And this, my friend, is where you'll sleep soundly knowing nobody's planning to baby trap you while you're unconscious. Sweet dreams are made of this, Damien." As we're setting up my new TV, Scott raised his drink. "Here's to Damien's new house. May it be filled with honesty, loyalty, and 0% chance of affair babies." "You're an idiot, Scott." "Yeah, but I'm a loyal idiot who doesn't screw other people's fiancés. That's apparently a rare quality these days. Lisa and I have been together for 6 months now, and it's the healthiest relationship I've ever had. No games, no manipulation, no constant drama. She actually contributes to conversations instead of just agreeing with whatever I say. She pays for her own stuff and doesn't expect me to fund her lifestyle, a revolutionary concept. We're talking about moving in together next year. She knows the whole story about Brittany and says it helps her understand why I'm sometimes cautious about certain things. Having a partner who actually gives a damn about your emotional well-being is a game changer. The best revenge is living well, and I'm absolutely crushing it. Good job, nice house, healthy relationship, money in the bank, and 0 tolerance for manipulative nonsense. I'm a completely different person than I was a year ago. That whole experience taught me exactly what I will and won't accept in my life. To any guys going through something similar, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let anyone convince you that you're being paranoid or unreasonable. Document everything, get legal help, and don't be afraid to walk away from people who don't respect you. And to the women reading this, not all men are ATMs with legs. Some of us actually want genuine partnerships, not financial arrangements disguised as relationships. This is my last update on this whole situation. Time to focus on building something real with someone who actually cares about me as a person, not just what I can provide.